when you hear the word diet, carnivore diet, I think people just think
it gives the wrong impression.
Exactly.
I completely agree. Like when people see that, they think, okay, what can't I eat on that diet? No, it's not about that.
It sounds restrictive.
Yeah. And actually, your account shows it really isn't.
No.
And we'll get to certain foods as well. So I just want to double check. So you weren't a chef at any point?
Never been.
No. Okay. So you just grew into it yourself naturally.
Yeah. Yes.
So okay, I want to go through some of the most common questions about carnivore food, carnivore lifestyle. I'm sure you've been asked before, but I think we nice to put them all in one video for people. So the first thing that people say, you've already alluded to it, carnivore sounds really restrictive. You know, I think just looking at your Instagram shows that's not the case. But what do you say to people that say that?
I think when you hear the word restrictive, it's a sort of a different definition. I think when people, it's like the diet thing, people think, oh, just you're only eating red meat and eggs. Well, I think the thing is, it's like, first of all, it's like when you start eating this way, you don't want to eat any other crap. So like, me personally, I don't see it as restrictive.
Same.
Like I'm on that sort of like, that wavelength where I could eat like amazing meals like once a day like I do now. And they're incredible. I mean, I post my main meals all the time as well. And
I've seen,
they're unreal. I mean,
it makes me hungry.
Yeah, exactly. And I can eat a lot in one go. So it was like, for me, that's not restricted, but I'm aware that like society is a bit different. Like people have families, they have like things that, you know, things that get in the way or whatever. But like, so that's why, you know, I started with my brother. Obviously James is a lot more sort of like, you know, he likes into the recipes too. So we started sort of like doing that sort of approach together. We think, how can we make sort of like recipes that are like, I guess say carnivore friendly.
So Jay, who's the better chef out of both of you?
Oh, it's me.
Definitely. Oh, you both agree.
Okay, yeah. It's not like he's cooking it all. I'm like just chilling. Yeah.
Okay, so he's directing you.
Yeah, but
if anything.
but James, you know, he doesn't like. He doesn't like. Yeah. He doesn't like to take the credit. He's just like me, but like he was a big part of it too. Sort of giving me inspiration as well, and sort of talking with it, working together on it. Because I think he's a bit more of a foodie than me. Obviously, we have the business together. We sort of work together. But yeah, then we started coming up with all these recipes, thinking like, actually, these recipes are unreal. Like they
taste not restrictive at all.
No, they taste really good. Like you know, pizzas and burgers and ice cream. And obviously, of course, like it depends what your definition of carnivore is.
And we'll get to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Because I think there's so many different definitions. Like you have,
and there are.
There must be about 5, 6, 7 different definitions, depending on what you think. So
exactly.
Exactly. So it's
I think restriction. I think that's relative. Based on how you do it. And I think also what people don't realize, you said something really, really important, which is something I say to my patients all the time clinically, which is when you give them the idea of what this is, this lifestyle, they immediately think, yes, that's restrictive. I can't have this, I can't have that. But what you don't realize is you're saying that from perspective where at the moment you're having it and you have a craving, because that's what carbs do. They're sweets for a reason. But then when you eat this way, you don't want it anyway, even if it's available. Like when I eat till I'm properly full, which is not easy sometimes if I'm on the go and I'm teaching all day, something like that. If I do eat till I'm properly full, you know, I'm a sugar addict, I'll be honest. I love ice cream.
I heard what you said with Rachel. You know, I was quite surprised. I didn't realize that when you said that, you were like saying, you know, you were quite open about it. You just said I am.
I don't recommend it, but I'm fully fledged sugar addict. I've got a problem. And if I do eat till I'm properly full, but you put my favorite ice cream in front of me, I don't want it. And I never thought I'd say that because there's always been room for dessert. Like I remember at university as a student, I used to go to Wagamama like with friends. I used to get 2 desserts, 2 mains, and 2 starters, 2 mains, and 2 desserts. So I used to eat for 2 people.
Easy.
And everyone would wonder where I'd put it. But I used to do a lot of sport, so I never got fat. But when you realize that that's the way you end up, where if you eat till you're properly full, you don't want those things you're asking about now, then you realize it's not restrictive because you can have it if you really want, but you don't want it. And that I think is really hard to imagine for people. They can't imagine only eating once a day. They can't imagine not having that. Do you think that's the problem? Do you think they've never experienced it?
You know, it's funny, like, you know, just on the train down here, you know, it's like, I was watching, I mean, like, you know, it sounds harsh, but I was watching like some of the people just sort of like eating their sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
Some people having beers on the train.
Like an experiment almost.
And it was interesting because, like, you know, for example, there's a couple of people having beers on the train and like, they were dead like rowdy and loud and happy. And then half an hour later, they were like, one of them was asleep. And it's like, that's what carbs do. I mean, like literally in the short term,
yeah,
you feel amazing. You feel great. I've got this energy. And then literally you just go,
and this is, I think, a big problem in athletes as well.
Yeah,
because you do that and you get some sort of boost or whatever. Yeah, and it's not right. But yeah, so restrictive, I think that's answered quite well. The problem is people aren't aware because they've never tried it.
Their whole life has been 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day with snacks. They're so used to just having this roller coaster all day, and then that's it. They're not used to having sustained energy.
That roller coaster is the glucose level.
Yeah, totally.
And when it doesn't go back to normal, when insulin is there to push it back down, it goes below normal to make you eat more.
Totally.
And because that's the way we've been programmed pretty much all our lives, we can't imagine it any different. And so, I think it's fair to say what people should expect is there's the cause, the roller coaster, and that's why you feel the way you feel. You've got to constantly eat, you've got to eat carbs, whatever. But if you take that away, you've got to trust that you won't feel that way. And it's a leap of faith. Unfortunately,
a lot of people in today's modern society, they want that short-term gratification.
Yeah,
and I think the thing is as well, it's like like anything, it's hard. The first starting point of anything is always hard.
Yeah, absolutely. The first step is the hardest to take.
I'm sure you've had plenty of people say to you, I've had plenty of people say to me, mate, I'm struggling the first 2 weeks, a week in, I'm struggling. And I think it's all varied. I think depending on where you've been before, if you come from a really bad sugar addict background, carbs, you'll feel it more. Yeah. I think some people breeze through it. I think some people...
I think so. I think it's a mental thing. Like,
if you are mentally strong, you'll right, I accept that I'm probably going to not feel great.
And you can't beat yourself up.
No, you can't.
Yeah. And I think another thing that I would give to, just to advise people who are watching this, you've got to think about, as you go through life, think about it as a series of decisions. Now, if you look at yourself now, and you look at a picture of someone who's the body that you want, and you think you could have that, or you could stay as you are, they can see the effort and they think, I've already got this, it's fine. But then if they show you a body that's far worse than yours, like terrible, and is about to die because it's so big, and they say, you're going to end up like that unless you do something, you're more likely to do something.
Absolutely.
And so the negative, and this is coming into game theory now, but the negative propels people more than the positive. And so when people come to this way of living and eating, etc., with a really poor health problem that basically made them question their whole life, I tend to find those people breeze through because they've been through so much worse. A craving for a pizza is nothing for them.
No, not at all. No. You realize that how how a lot sort of it doesn't matter the fact that that you've got a bit of a craving for some sugar, man. Like it's not
how minor is that compared to like a heart attack you had before,
exactly, like
gangrene or something.
Absolutely, like that. You got to put life into perspective, haven't you? I think that but food is such an emotional trigger, man.
It is. It's dopamine at the end of the day.
It's like with social media. Like I found it out. Like I didn't know how insane it was for people. Like how connected they are with their food. I mean, like I really found that out.
And I'm still in that way place.
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm still a sugar addict. I'm not completely carnivore.
Technically, aren't we all sugar addicts? If we're given this
by evolution,
yeah. I mean,
by evolution. Yeah.
I don't think I'm not sure anyone, if you give them the stimulus, would not want to take the sugar.
I think I'm an acting sugar addict.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But I think that it's because I think that it's hard because you can be as mentally tough as you want.
Yeah. But you can't reverse 5 million.
You're giving a birthday. You're giving some cake. It's like, it's hard. Even with even with like good stuff. I mean, even honey. I love honey, but it's like for me, I can pick it up and put it down. For some people,
it's not possible.
They might struggle. But I mean, when the main thing I'll talk about, because obviously a lot of my recipes are all of them are all whole food recipe. Yeah. They're designed to kind of keep you full in a way.
Right.
But like with the processed stuff, I mean, like sugar,
designed to keep you eating.
Sugar sweets. Oh my God, you can be as full as you want. Yeah. But you can always find room for dessert.
And I think that's my problem. That's why I used to eat so much, and I'm sure you were probably the same.
Yeah.
Whereas now I can't do it. Like if
I can't physically, tough. Yeah.
I can't force myself to eat more. Whereas if it was processed stuff, I probably could. The ice cream and things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think restriction is not an issue.